What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This here's Legitical Response. We cover political news, and today we're going to cover something that's not Donald Trump, although he probably will be mentioned, of course, because the news cycle right now, it seems to be revolving around Donald Trump. We've just completely ignored the Biden administration and all their malfeasance, but not for long, y'all. Check this out. Ex-Trump advisor Peter Navarro, released from prison, decries weaponization of the justice system. And as you can see, this comes from the Associated Press, so you know it's going to be full of framing and lies. Nothing but that, because corporate press, they can't tell the truth for some reason. The AP is really bad about this. I don't understand. Why can't they just give out the facts and say, here you go, you decipher this, figure out your opinion from there. But no, they're going to try to push you, nudge you in a certain direction to fit their worldview. No, I'm sorry, that is not journalism. That, my friends, is indoctrination, and that's all these people do. They cannot, as you saw with that my last story, they refuse to try to put any sort of positive light on anything that's not left-wing. Anything. Doesn't have to be right-wing. And as a matter of fact, we know for a fact that anything that's not left-wing is far-right, extreme MAGA Republican right. You can't be in the center anymore with these people. There is no centrist position with these people. It's all either left or right, black or white, evil or good. Doesn't matter to these people. They're outright insane to think that average, everyday people are just going to buy into the narrative. And look, sometimes people do buy into it. Why? Because that's all they get. They don't get the truth sometimes. And sometimes when the truth comes out, you realize the corporate press lies. You start looking upon the corporate press with a lot more skepticism. But let's get into this story. Former Trump White House official Peter Navarro, released from prison Wednesday, condemned the Biden administration for what he called the weaponization of the justice system, even as he pledged to offer a message of national unity when he speaks to the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. And already, and you might be thinking like, oh, where's the spin on that? When they say, even as he pledged, as if you can't say that the justice system in this country has been weaponized, but we all need to come together. Even when he calls for unity. Huh? What do you mean, even as he calls for unity? He's screaming about the weaponization. That is a fact. And he is also calling for unity, corporate press. Not even as he calls for unity. Acting like that's some sort of hypocritical statement. Acting like those two things can't go together or something. Like what? These people are insane, y'all. In his first interview since his release from a Florida prison for contempt of Congress, Navarro told the Associated Press he was just one example of what many on the right say is the Biden administration's use of the judiciary to punish its political enemies. And at this point, from what we've seen, especially with the Trump indictments, that is a fact. That is not just a claim. That is not just somebody saying something. That is not a conspiracy theory. We know that to be fact. However, the Associated Press will rebuke this. I promise you that. No, I haven't read this whole story out. I saw the headline, read the first paragraph, and was like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. I'm going to go ahead and cover this. So I'm getting this news just as you are, and I'm reacting to it just as you are. Once again, all this comes off the top of my head. I'm a small part of the bigger issue, Navarro said, referring to the often repeated claim by conservatives that during President Joe Biden's administration, the justice system has been used to hobble former President Donald Trump and those close to him. If we don't control the government will control us, Navarro said. Navarro, who served as White House trade advisor under Trump, was freed from custody after serving 4 months for refusing to cooperate with a congressional investigation into the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol by a mob of the Republican president's supporters, according to the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And that's how they kind of brushed that off. According to the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Well, like, come on, dude. They can't just say that it was for refusing to cooperate with Congress. They have to throw in January 6th, right? Because most people see January 6th as a bad thing. They don't know just how weaponized the government has been on that January 6th. They don't know that when you hear the corporate press say January 6th rioters, they don't know that 95% of the people arrested were absolutely nonviolent, peaceful protesters that got arrested on January 6th. And that to me is insane, right? Like, they think it's, insane and crazy when Donald Trump talks about commuting the sentences of a lot of these political prisoners. Oh, he called them political prisoners. They are. They most certainly are, right? We didn't see peaceful protesters getting arrested like all the BLM riots of 2020. We didn't see peaceful protesters getting arrested. As a matter of fact, most of the violent Antifa people and the BLM rioters didn't get arrested for the most part. But when it's Republicans, that's a different story. And that's what he means by weaponized Justice Department. They're going after these people just for being related to the Republican Party. All right, there's people that didn't even go to the Capitol, weren't even in Washington, D.C., that got 22 years in prison. It's all absolutely insane. Despite his echo of a common GOP refrain that the Biden administration has weaponized the judicial system to punish Trump and his allies, Navarro said he planned to offer a message of unity, a common theme among Republicans in light of the assassination attempt on the former president Saturday. See, once again, here they go, trying to frame the story in such a way as if you can't call for unity and also say that the Justice Department under the Biden administration has been weaponized against us. To win the election, we have to unite not just the Republican Party, but the entire country, Navarro said. I'm going to reach out to Democrats disenchanted with the radical left. Many mainstream Democrats are disenfranchised, disengaged, and disgusted with the radical left, Navarro said. In Trump's America, people don't have to worry about food on the table, medicine in the cabinet, and a roof over their heads. Unity is my message, he added. Trump has accused the Justice Department of targeting him politically with indictments in 2 criminal cases, even as the department has also brought tax and gun charges against Biden's son, Hunter. Hunter Biden was convicted on 3 felony charges last month. What didn't I say that they was going to try to say? They was going to try to use Hunter Biden. They was going to try to counter that message by saying, oh no, it's not weaponized against Republicans. They went after Hunter Biden, right? But see, the corporate press, once again, forgets to tell the people that, hang on, that's only because of one person. Yeah, Hunter Biden, that's one person. One judge was like, hell no, I'll get disbarred and possibly have criminal charges brought against me if I allow this plea deal to go through. Yeah, they tried to give Hunter Biden a plea deal that gave him immunity, that gave several of his co-conspirators, I'll call them, immunity from these charges and from other charges. Right, that's right, other charges. More charges that are to come. Tried to give him immunity for all this. Tried to give Joe Biden immunity, right? Like, that was the curious bit about it. Why would Joe Biden need immunity in Hunter Biden's criminal case? That makes you wonder. That's why the judge said, hell no, I ain't having this. We can't do this. We can't do this at all. This is nuts. I'm sorry. We can't do this. So then the DOJ was forced to go after Hunter Biden, to force to proceed with their criminal prosecution, forced to go to court, forced to go to trial. Didn't do it because they wanted to. They tried to get out of it. And the corporate press is trying to use that as some sort of excuse as to why the Justice Department isn't weaponized against Donald Trump. It's insane. The lies by omission, the outright lies, all of it. These people are evil, folks. A judge in Florida this week dismissed one of Trump's federal cases, which accused him of hoarding classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate. The Justice Department plans to appeal. Attorney General Merrick Garland has forcefully defended the independence and integrity of the Justice Department against what he describes as unprecedented attacks by Republicans. What? Okay, so hang on. Let's keep reading. I want to see if they mention something here. The idea that politics inflects our prosecutions, nothing could be further from the truth. Oh my God, do I have something to say about that? We have one rule. We follow the facts and we follow the law and we make the appropriate decisions, Garland told reporters last month. What an outright piece of shit. That is just garbage. That is BS. You went after Peter Navarro for the same thing that you done, Merrick Garland, as a matter of fact. Yeah, they went after Peter Navarro for not complying with a congressional subpoena after President Trump asserted executive privilege over him, saying, "No, I assert executive privilege. You don't have to go testify. You don't have to turn over any records." And guess what? The same thing happened with Merrick Garland. And we've covered that story, so I'm sure you guys know, but in case you don't know, they wanted the audio tape from Robert Hur's interview with Joe Biden about his mishandling of classified documents, and guess what? They wouldn't turn it over. Congressional oversight, right? This wasn't the January 6th committee, right? Which in Peter Navarro's case was the January 6th committee, which was an unofficial committee, by the way, in case you guys didn't know that. It wasn't an official committee, but this was the oversight committee. Wanted that audio tape. Merrick Garland said no. They subpoenaed it. Merrick Garland said no. They held Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress. Joe Biden asserts executive privilege. Boom. Guess what? 4 Republicans, it pisses me off still, 4 Republicans voted against inherent contempt. So, guess what? They sent the original contempt of Congress charges over to the DOJ. And guess what the DOJ does? They didn't follow the facts, they didn't follow the law, and they politically decided to not go after Merrick Garland because he's a cabinet official. Holy crap. So, all of those paragraphs you just heard were lies. These people lie constantly, and I'm sick and tired of these people lying. The idea that our politics inflects our prosecutions, nothing could be further from the truth. Shut your mouth, you human piece of garbage. That's all you are, Merrick Garland. You're trash. You're evil. You're a piece of crap. Still, Navarro said Democrats are a potentially fertile voting bloc for Trump that he plans to try to reach in his convention speech. Trump won in 2016 in large part by carrying once Democratic swaths of states carried by former President Barack Obama in 2012, including Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Just like Donald Trump, I am fighting for important principles, Navarro said. Navarro is set to speak in the 6 p.m. hour Central Time, according to a person familiar with the schedule who spoke on the condition of anonymity. Before the schedule's official release, the Associated Press first reported that Navarro would address the RNC. Navarro was the first senior Trump administration official to be locked up for a crime related to the January 6th attack when he reported to a federal prison in Miami in March. He has called his conviction the partisan weaponization of the judicial system. He was subpoenaed by the committee over his promotion of false claims of voter fraud in the 2020 election in the run-up to the Capitol insurrection. He has maintained that he couldn't cooperate with the committee because Trump had invoked executive privilege. Courts have rejected that argument, finding that Navarro couldn't prove Trump had actually invoked executive privilege. There you go, corporate press. Once again, lying. Think about that for a second. Courts couldn't prove that Trump asserted executive privilege. All you got to do is ask the man. That's it. Have Donald Trump come in and testify under oath, for God's sakes. Do you think there's an official document or something that asserts executive privilege? Or do you think it's just something that the president says? I'm sure there is a document that says, hey, he asserted executive privilege over this. But I'm also sure that it's just as legit if the president just says, no, I assert executive privilege over this man. He doesn't have to testify. It's all BS. It's all just garbage coming from the corporate press. They're lying to you, folks. Don't let the corporate press freaking lie to you. These people are just evil. That's the only way I can explain it. Because they're lying to further themselves politically. That's what they're doing. And it's in a bad way too. It's in such a direction that it's going to destroy this country. It's going to outright be the demise of the United States as we knew it. Right? It's not going to blow up. We're not going to go into civil war over shit like this. No, none of that. But your freedoms are going to be gone. The right to life is under attack constantly. Your freedoms, your sovereignty is under attack by the Biden administration. Your way of life is under attack by the Biden administration. These people are insane. But I think that's all I got for this one, because I might pop another vein out of my neck if I don't slow down here a little bit, y'all. But y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.